Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from the Govardhan Eco Village in beautiful Maharashtra, India, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to my birthday fortnight. Yes, it's my birthday for 2 weeks now until the...
You're going to make sure it like overlaps and overshadows my birthday, right? You're going to like eclipse it.
You get a fortnight, I get a fortnight. I'm not saying you can't have a fortnight.
All right.
I just spent the last 2.5 hours with Radha Swami.
Well, look at you over here.
And I barely made the show. I was like, Mars, I really appreciate being with you. I've got to go to this show or Kastuba's going to kill me. And then he said, what would Kastuba? He goes, I said, Kastuba runs a tight ship, Maharaj. And he says, yes. What would he do with both of us? We're both something like we're both naughty or something. I was like, yeah. It was really nice. We talked about everything under the sun, from just people in his life and so many, like, it all started from, there was a crab, a giant crab. And he said him and Ladini Shakti, our friend Ladini Shakti, who's a Sage Group leader, and Niranjana Swami, who's been on the show, they were all sitting on under one of those chhatras, those stone umbrellas.
Where?
It keeps you right down at their Yamuna River at the Govardhan Eco Village. They have a little massive fountain of the Yamuna. There's a crab. I was like, first, I was just shocked there was a crab there. I was like, the story can end there. I'm quite fascinated. He said a large crab was just walking. We just started chanting at the crab. We sat there and witnessed it, and then out of nowhere, a frog came up and consumed the entire. He said it wasn't a small crab, and it wasn't a small frog. They do have massive frogs here. Have you noticed that? Really big. And it ate the crab. And he was just talking about, he was just saying how this world is so divided right now. He said, if you choose one side, the other side hates you. If you choose the other side hates you. And if you choose neither side, half of both sides hate you. Look at this guy just sitting back, spiritual, bypassing. He says, you can't win. And it's so hateful. And he said, but actually, our life is over in a moment. It's like in a moment, and people are just hating. And moment, the frog of death is going to gobble up you, Kastuba. You're going to be sitting there, eating one of your Mohan, what are they called? Mohan Tals.
Well, I don't think I've had the Mohan Tal yet.
I've got one here on my desk for you. I can't eat them.
The one that I can.
Who gave me, I'm giving them all back to you. Happy birthday. I know what I'm getting you. Can you re-gift it to the same guy? The frog of death is going to eat you while you're like late when you least expect it.
Unless you, I was going to say you can unless you've eaten half of it already, but go ahead.
When you least expect it, the frog of death. Oh, no.
Wow.
And then he mentioned that Elvis Presley's daughter just died of a heart attack. She was like,
Yeah. Lisa
you know,
Marie, I believe her name was. Lisa Marie.
Lisa
Presley.
Marie. Lisa Marie. And he was just, we were just, you know, we wouldn't do this to be depressed. And we just did this to, he just did this to remind us, like, so many celebrities who went through so much hell. First, you have like Elvis. You know, he's like, and I don't really know much about Elvis. He goes, it was the Beatles and Elvis, and no one was bigger than those two, you know, groups. And he said, you know, when he died vomiting in his 40s on a toilet seat, choking on his own vomit. You know, then there is, you know, his daughter who died of a heart attack, and their child died of her only child, Elvis's grandson, committed suicide. It's just like the material world is like a horror story after horror story. And sometimes you get a dream, or sometimes the dream is intimately blended with horror. You know, like you have someone who's these incredible celebrities who become drug addicts, and it's just one thing after another. And I felt just hearing him say that, I was like, thank God this man's in my life. Thank God the devotees have been in my life. Thank God for God. That's a takeaway, madam. Thank God for God. Okay. That's how I was feeling. Then we started talking about all the temples of Wait. There's more here. We started talking about the temples of Vrindavan. He started telling me about Bunky Bihari. Well, he said, oh, Bunky Bihari. He said he used to go to 6 Mangal Artiks a day. I was like, Maharaj, I'm pretty impressed. I can't get to one. 6 Mangal Artiks a day. And he said, and I was asking him about the deity of Bunky Bihari. I say, is it male and female combined as one? You know, so, you know, the founder of the temple, he used to sit in this little forest, Nidhivan, and he was considered the most powerful of all singers of ragas. He could just sing. He said the animals would stop and just like weep. Everybody would weep when they would come see him. And even Akbar himself, who was the Mughal emperor, would come in disguise to see Haridas Swami sing. This is different than Haridas Thakur. And Swami Haridas, famous singer, and his disciple, Tansen, became the court singer for Akbar.
Right.
And so they would come to Nidhivan just to hear him sing. And so anyway, he said one day, due to his intense love, Radha and Krishna manifested in front of him. And then they just burst into liquid and became merged into one deity. And that is the Bunky Bihari deity.
Bunky Bihari.
Mm-hmm. Bunky Bihari. Hey, it was just one story after another with Maharaj. It's all we talked about. Death and deities.
That's a good way to go.
Radha Vallabha. Yeah, death and deities.
Okay, Raghunath, are you ready?
It's a good morning.
Good. Well, it's an afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get some announcements here. Hi, Mara.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm exhausted today, truthfully.
You've been running all day.
I've been running all day, Mara, right? I've been running all day with my big chubby arm. I got my big swelled up arm still. It's not deflated yet.
It's getting less swollen though.
Thank you.
It's getting better. Okay, announcements. We have a asana class with Josh Kane today at 10:30 a.m. for our Patreon members, and a Bhakti Recovery Group meeting at 1 p.m. And we should mention that tomorrow's show will also be at this time. So it'll be at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time instead of the usual time.
You know what I got for my birthday?
What's that?
From Silas. Silas, one of our regular listeners. He gave me a Spotify account, you know, premium. So you don't have to. Yeah. And because of it, you could just listen to these Radhanath Swami classes. I've got going through not Radhanath Swami class, just listen to Radhanath Swami all day. You just let that thing run in your pocket with your headphones on.
Okay.
It's great. See, the information age, if you use it right, you can save your life. If you use it wrong, it'll destroy your culture. Here.
Thank you for that, Raghunath.
Yeah, well. Okay. Anything
I got
else?
some nuggets
sir?
for you. Yeah, I got some nuggets for you.
All right.
Do you have them
see
pulled
what
up?
we got for in Nugget World.
Pure
Yeah, we
heart
do.
nuggets.
Pure heart nuggets. As soon as the heart is pure,
Who's this from?
all truths. This is from Unknown, my friend.
Yes, unknown quote.
Unknown. Like, how did it get popular if it was unknown?
I don't know. It's going around,
Just
though.
spray painted on the side of a wall?
I looked around. I couldn't find it. Everyone was saying it's unknown.
As soon as the heart is pure, all truths sparkle in it. All truths sparkle in it a minute.
In it, in a
all
minute.
truth in. As soon as the heart is pure, all truths sparkle in it in a moment. Let's say moment.
Okay, if that's easier.
All truth in the universe. I'm going to change. Mr. Unknown won't mind if I change one word. If I
You never
keep the
know.
basic
We don't know
essence.
who he is. He might, but
Might be on Zoom.
Yes.
hopefully he's
All truth
pure-hearted.
in the universe. He's pure-hearted by now. All truth in the universe will manifest in your heart if you are pure enough.
Okay.
All truth in the universe
So we do that again?
will manifest in your heart.
Let me read
As
that
soon
one
as
more
the
time,
heart is
please.
pure. Is there a delay?
A little bit,
Is
it
there a
seems
delay
like,
going on? Okay. As soon as the heart is pure, all truths sparkle in it in a moment. All truth in the universe will manifest in your heart if you are pure enough.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about that, Ragnar?
Well, all is a very big word, but I believe that when the heart is pure, which means when the consciousness is clean, you will receive direction in this world and how to move, how to behave, how to think, how to choose. The what we call intuition will be with us 24/7. It's not just like I got a hunch.
I don't think when it says all truth, I don't think that means like all trivial information. Right.
Like, how do fax machines work? That manifests in my heart.
Like, how do those printers work? 'Cause I've always been amazed by them.
Especially the wireless printers.
It's not like that. But in other words, all truth, meaning all that you realize, you realize what has been covered all this time, right? That is, and it's really all that one needs to know. You know, I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. I don't need all these external things to make me happy. I am made of spirit. I am made of the energy of God. I have an eternal connection to God that is, you know, entirely blissful and satisfying. And that's all I need to know, right? Like, that's all truth in one sense, you know. But it's the pure heart. And what do we mean by pure? You know, I think it means that we don't desire other things. You know, we don't. You understand? We don't desire anything but our true nature. That's, in my mind, that's pure. And then everything starts to spark.
Okay.
Then like all that beautiful stuff that life is really all about starts to sparkle in it in a minute or moment, however you might want to say.
In a minute. In a minute.
In a minute. I thought you'd like that.
I like that. You want to hear another one? It has to do with a pure heart. But this is by Rumi.
Yeah. I don't think we ever had Rumi before. I think this is our first one.
No, we've had Rumi.
I don't think we have.
You think Rumi was like a?
In any case,
You think Rumi's like a
I
pure
don't think we ever had a
devotee?
Rumi. A lot of stuff that he says, or at least that he apparently said, kind of rings, you know, runs pretty parallel to a lot of bhakti ideas.
The pure heart is a spotless mirror in which images of infinite beauty are reflected. What do you get out of that?
That again, you know, like everybody's running around this world with a heart that's been, you know, impure in the sense that we think we need something to make sense. So we have these desires, right? I need something to make me happy. I need to find that. I need to get that. I need to get out of that. I need to get into that. And in a sense, we're all dull because of that, right? Like we're not, nothing is, as the other quote said, you know, sparkling. Here it's saying reflecting. But that if we just let go of that, if we just let go of the false programming in the mind that I need to be someone that I'm not, that I need something that I don't have, then actually, this, all that is spiritual begins to shine from that person. I think you and I have met people that are like that.
Yeah.
They've kind of let go of all the selfish interests. They've let go of all that illusory stuff, and they become like magical people. Like their hearts are brimming with something special. Maybe some in a more colorful way, some in a more quiet way. It's still individuals, but they can speak. Yeah. I say they can speak. They can sing. They can manifest. They can reflect all that's beautiful.
You ever feel like it's too much of it? This order is too much for one waitress to carry. It's like, and it's like, I got to come back. I got to come back and do this.
On another life, you mean?
Yeah, it's just like I feel too dented sometimes. I feel too dented to make it much. I got to make a lot of advancement.
What I feel
in this lifetime, that's how I'm feeling.
I feel
it's
like
I'm so far at the bottom of the mountain, and there's not much time left. Radha Swami's like, "How old are you? I heard your birthday was yet." I was like, "Mars, I can't even say it. I don't feel like I don't feel old, but I was like, once I said I'm 57, he's like, yes. You know what I mean?
What does that mean? What do you mean by what did he mean by
how many
yes?
years do I have to figure this out?
No, but here's how I feel. You asked me a question, right? Do I feel it's too tall of an order to like accomplish this in this lifetime to get to that place?
Yes. Yeah.
I feel that it could happen. By the grace of the Vaishnavas, by the grace of God, anything can happen if you try. I believe that God's very merciful. He can make up for what you lack. But I also believe that in one sense, the end of this life is just one measurement, right? It's like the next life is fine too. That sometimes I feel that way. Or I feel like even if I was blessed in some way to achieve this, I could still come back and whatever I meant to do, I could do again, I think I try not to think in terms of salvation anymore, or like escape, or I just try to think of getting to that place where you've let go of everything. Your heart is just entirely God's.
Yeah.
If it's in this lifetime,
yeah,
all the better. If it's in the next lifetime, that's okay too. Just as long as I'm moving towards it, like you say all the time, right? That it's not perfection, but it's progress.
Progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
How's
I just
that?
wouldn't mind perfection. Wouldn't mind it. But yeah,
well, the perfection
that's
comes, but
yeah, you're
as long
right.
as you're moving towards it.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Do we have any more else? Or is that it?
I have a lot of
That's it.
pure heart nuggets, but maybe we're going to talk more about this pure heart, like with what we read today. So when we dig into that, and then maybe pull up some more nuggets.
Another thing about the pure heart is like when the heart is impure, that reflection sees everything else as impure. We start to see like when the heart is impure, then that mirror is dirty, and you start to see the world like for example, like you're untrustworthy, so you see other people as they're not trustworthy. Whatever you got going on in your own consciousness, you project outwards on a regular basis. People are out to cheat me because I myself am a cheater. So yeah, it says a lot about making this one of this, like the goal of our life, this pure heart.
That's it. It was searching for a heart of gold right there. Remember that one?
Yes. We got.
That's essentially what we're doing.
While I'm reading the nugget on the WhatsApp, I guess who I got a message from. It just came in, which we should get on our show. Shubha Vilas sent me a message.
Okay.
Send me a message. The guy is one of those. Radha Swami was just talking to me about him. One of those completely prolific authors and geniuses. Anyway,
let's get into it.
Let's get into the Bhagavatam, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated. And loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunmandadam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Hey, guess what I got for a birthday present? From somebody that you know. Caught me off guard with this one. I won't mention names, but he listens to our show. He said, Raghu, I'm going to treat you and me and Janeshwar, my assistant and friend. We're going to go do the Char Dham Yatra. Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kedarnath. No, we're driving in a Jeep for the holy Dhams in the Himalayas. And like, he's serious about it. We're doing it in April. Going to go for like 10 days. What do you think about that?
Guess we want to have the show for 10 days.
I think it'd be great live from Badrinath.
How are you going to do it?
That's the origin of the show. That's where the show started. It's Vyasadev's cave. And then they have I'm
aware of that.
Ganesh Guha, where he wrote the Vedas with, Ganesh can write with both hands. He wrote the Vedas with both hands. And if you look at the cave, if you step back, it looks like a book. It's different than all the other rocks around. It looks like a stack of, because the books were stacks of leaves. It's very interesting. And they say that Vyasadeva still lives in that cave, but you cannot perceive him.
Okay.
Anyway, I think it'd be great live from Badrinath. That'll be the best episode ever.
Yeah, I'm sure they got great internet up there too.
I'm sure Vyasadeva will help us transmit that. Yes. Okay, so here we are, sir. We are on Mara, Canto 5, Chapter 1, Text 30. Ready to go? While so excellently ruling the universe, King Priyavrata once became dissatisfied with the circumambulation of the most powerful. Oh, yeah. He's upset with the sun god. Remember? This is where we left.
He's straightening things out.
Yeah. Encircling Sumeru Hill on his chariot. So they say that the sun god is like riding a chariot. And that is that's the sun. The sun god illuminates all the surrounding planetary systems. However, when the sun is on the northern side of the hill, the south receives less light. And when the sun is in the south, the north receives less. King Priyavrata disliked this situation and therefore decided to make daylight in the part of the universe where there was night. He followed the orbit of the sun god on a brilliant chariot and thus fulfilled his desire. He could perform such wonderful activities because of the power he had achieved by worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Priyavrata, it is interesting. It's like funny story when you're reading this as myth, but when you're reading this as like, what if this could be real? Then it's really interesting. Like he actually, here is some type of leader of the cosmos who has relationships with the sun deity.
Yeah. Well, it's the book is not meant to be a book of cosmology. So it's not going to go into detail to try to establish that
and explain it.
What it's trying to establish is what is said at the very end of that verse, right? He could perform such wonderful activities because of the power he had achieved by worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Now, there are books that do explain that, just like the books talk about, castes. The books talks about what else? What else did the books talk about?
There's a lot of books out there. I'm not sure.
No, what it was the Bhagavatam talks about,
like
but it's
palm
not
reading
or
something.
No, it's just not the goal of the Bhagavatam, but it talks about so many different the origin of species and flying vehicles, and there are literature out there that talks about stuff like this. So it just mentions this stuff, but the real purpose that you're putting forth is, but the
it's a book about
potency
devotion.
comes. Yeah, it's a book about devotion, and that's where you're going to hear again and again. Of course, it's going to talk about otherworldly things. We're talking about we're talking about heroes of the universe who are also surrendered to God. These are like heroes that, we look up to heroes. So why wouldn't a puny earthling like us do the same? Continuing on. When Priyavrata drove his chariot behind the sun, the rims of his chariot wheels created impressions that later became 7 oceans, dividing the planetary systems known as Bhumandala into 7 islands.
And I don't believe that's referring to the 7 earthly continents. I believe it's referring to some other universal.
You might have to read that book by Sadhaputta Prabhu.
Yeah.
Someone put it on the board, I think. The names of the islands are Jambu, Plaksha, Salmali, Kusha, Kroncha, Shaka, Pushkar. Each island is twice as large as the one preceding it, and each is surrounded by a liquid substance beyond which is the next island. This is an other dimensional universe. Don't try to figure it out, Chief Pags. Chief Pags is like, what's going on here? Wait a second.
I'm out of here.
What did I get myself into?
I knew this was coming.
Wait a second. It's all real, Chief Pags. You just can't perceive it with your eyes. And that's reasonable. It's reasonable I can't perceive everything with my eyes.
Well, it's not just
I can't
reasonable.
even-
It's obvious.
I can't perceive my eyelids. I can't perceive my lungs. They've been walking with me for years. Never saw them. But what to speak of things that are beyond the perception of my eyes? I think it's important to just mention this.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
Sure.
There's a ant on my computer. Even though he's right next to me, he's not looking at me and saying, oh, Raghu's got his red frames on his glasses today. I like the black ones better. The ant's not saying that. You know why? Because even though I'm right next to the ant, he doesn't perceive me as a being. Maybe an energy, maybe a force, but definitely not like the short Italian guy with red rims on his glasses. So I am a short Italian guy with red glasses, but it's way beyond his perception. He can never figure out that in a lifetime. So the next obvious question is, what can't I figure out within this lifetime that might be 5 inches away? I'm 5 inches from the ant. What is 5 inches from me, Mr. Kastuba?
It will
That
read the
I
next
can't
verse and you'll find out.
Okay. Text 34. King Priyavrata then gave his daughter.
No, I think it's 33.
The 7 oceans. Thank you, Mara. The 7 oceans, respectively, contain salt water, sugarcane juice, what? Liquor, what? Clarified butter. These are the 7 oceans. Clarified butter, milk, emulsified yogurt. What's that? Emulsified yogurt.
I don't know what
Like
it means.
lassi? What's emulsified mean?
Look it up right now.
Google that word. And sweet drinking water. So that they say that in India a lot. I don't know if they say that in England. Like if there's a lake where you can drink the water, or a creek, they call that sweet water, right?
Yeah, and not
Sweet water
salt
means drinking
like
water.
fresh water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet water. All the islands are completely surrounded by these oceans, and each ocean is equal in breadth to the island it surrounds. I wonder if that literally means all those things. Why speculate? Clarified butter ocean, milk ocean, sugarcane juice ocean. What do I know? I can't, right? I'm an ant. I'm glad I did that ant analogy before I read this,
Okay.
right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I went
That
from
was the
that ant analogy saying something like, what do we know? And once I heard about the sugarcane ocean, I was like, wait a second, that's not real. I can flip flop in a moment. Okay, Mara, you got a definition for emulsified?
2 different liquids are combined in the
Oh, like homogenized.
yeah, sort of. So it's like a thick yogurt, I think.
Ooh, I want that ocean. They have any vegan yogurt oceans? Coconut yogurt ocean, perhaps? Continuing on, Kastuba. Maharaj Priyavrata, the husband of Queen Barhishmati, gave sovereignty over these islands to his respective sons, namely Agnidra, Idmajiva, Yagyabahu, Hiranyaretha, Gritaprishta, Medatiti, and Vitihotra. Thus, they all became kings by the order of their father. King Priyavrata then gave his daughter, Urjasvati, in marriage to Sukracharya, who begot in her another daughter named Devayani.
I believe Devayani is going to come up later in the Bhagavatam.
Okay, so Sukracharya, quiz for Mara, hot seat for Mara. Who is Sukracharya, Mara? See if the message board gets it before Mara. Don't look. Don't.
I don't know. I don't know who
You know who
Sukracharya is.
Sukracharya is? Tell her, Kostuba.
He's a guru of the Asuras.
Guru of the Asuras. I've taken back your boon.
I can't take it back.
I can, and I will.
It's not supposed to be based on intelligence or makeup.
You know what's funny? I was
Memorizing
talking to
things.
Maharaj today, and he was talking about how to get bhakti and how you get bhakti and how difficult it is. Like, do we even know what Krishna service to Krishna is? So I was going to say, Maharaj, will you give me a boon? And I said it. I said, like, I was going to say, will you give me a boon? Would you give me bhakti? Like asking for kripa, mercy from the guru. I said, and he was just telling the story. I said, Maharaj, can I ask a boon? And he kept on talking as if I never said it. And I thought to myself, I'll ask him later. Maybe he didn't hear me.
He heard you.
I love the idea of a boon. It's like you're giving, like, it's almost like a magical fulfilling someone's request through magic.
It doesn't have to be through magic, right? A boon.
Yeah, I guess not.
But
You're right.
Suppose it could be.
It's not necessarily magic at all. It's what right. Yes, you're giving them like a wish.
So yeah.
Okay. All right, where are we? Text 35. My dear king. It could be magic. My dear king, a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord can transcend the influence of the 6 material waves.
Okay,
Here
so
are the
this
waves.
is my point. And here's the point, just again, like, in other words, we're hearing this really far out stuff. And it sounds like ridiculous mythology to a lot of people. But then we get these people like, you know, like Richard L. Thompson or something like that, that's going to try to figure it out and see if there's some way that this makes sense according to modern cosmology, and they'll dig into that. And then, but then you see, you get right back here again. Like, what's the text really telling us? And then you start to hear something like this, real important.
My dear king, a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust from the lotus feet of the Lord can transcend the influence of the 6 material waves, namely hunger, right? That's there's a wave of hunger. That's like, oh, I'm starving. I'm starving. I got to eat something, right? Thirst. Oh, I'm so thirsty. I was just had that wave hit me.
Bob's over here having snacks on the couch right now.
The king of hearts got the wave of heart, got the wave of hunger crashing down upon him. Lamentation. Oh, the good old days. That's a wave. Why didn't I purchase real estate when it was cheap? That's the wave of lamentation, right? Illusion. That's a wave that hits us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I never knew the story about Patty Boyd and Eric Clapton. Did you know that story? Maharaj told me. I was like, he tells me everything.
There's some
Spiritual
things about
information,
them.
material. Anyway, it was an illusion, like this person will fulfill me. Anyway, old age, another wave. We get hit by that wave. That one seems unreal until it hits us. I mean, it hitting us a little. Like when I stand up, it's like I got to rock up. Do you got to do that? Like sort of rock up. Okay, I gotta throw my weight back and throw my weight forward to stand up. If I'm like sitting down on the floor, I'm like, all right, reach my hand out to someone. Hey, give me a little lift up here. That's a
Should we
way
get you a
old
rope?
age.
You could just carry a little rope, like
Like with a treble hook on it, I could just throw. try
grappling
to catch
hook.
try to catch the curtain rod to pull me up. Hey, Rocket Up, what's there's scratches all over your ceiling? Oh, it's my treble hook. I use it to just hang ropes from your house, wherever you are. Anyway,
Okay, keep going here. Old
it's like
age
those people are
and-
like, your own age is just a number. No, it isn't. I have a tough time standing up. It's not just a number. Namely, hunger, thirst, lamentation, old age, and the final wave,
death.
the crab, the frog of death comes.
We're
How
frog
the
of
hell did
death.
how the hell did it digest the crab?
They got powerful acids in the stomach, I guess.
I got a feeling once that frog ate the crab, he's like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Especially a big crab.
He said a big crab.
It must have been a soft shell crab.
You didn't mention the soft.
He didn't mention the soft shell.
I'm just saying it must
But
have been.
that's, or he died. Maybe he ate something, he died from it.
Okay, we got to finish this verse. Okay.
Okay. And he can conquer. Okay, wait.
Read the whole thing
Start
again.
We're gonna start
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
My dear king, a devotee who has taken shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord can transcend the influence of the six material waves, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. He can conquer the mind and the five senses. However, this is not very wonderful for a pure devotee of the Lord, because
Right.
even a person beyond the jurisdiction of the four castes, in other words, an untouchable, is immediately relieved of the bondage to material existence if he utters the holy name of the Lord even once.
Okay.
Interesting stuff here.
Very interesting. Now,
Commentaries by Kostuba.
let's get the context again. Like, why is it telling us this far out stuff about he's chasing the sun down and changing its path, and he's he was talking about these seven oceans, that he was kind of he was kind of engineering the entire universe. It's saying this
Right.
man was powerful, right? This man was like more powerful than you could imagine, and so he had power. He had this beautiful wife. He had beautiful, powerful children. He had all the material opulences, right? But he was able to give it all up by the power of devotion, right? It's that influential, right? And it's saying, but even that's no big deal when you think about it, because, and then it says this very important message, which is really what the Bhagavatam is all about, because if you read in the older books like the Vedas and all of this stuff, you may begin to interpret it in ways that are like the Vedas are going to praise Dharma, and then through that they're going to praise people that live more dharmically, how they should be respected, how they should have privilege, and then as soon as you do that, certain people are less privileged, and so on. And it's going to describe all different grades of people and who you should associate with and who you shouldn't. Here it's saying, no matter where you come from, no matter what family you're born in, no matter even what you've been through in life, that wherever you come from, you can be immediately relieved of bondage to material existence if you utter the holy name of the Lord even once.
And
So
some
what
people
does-
may ask here. Some
Mhm.
people may ask, like, what's an untouchable? I give a really simple answer. I'm an untouchable. I'm an untouchable. I'm not born in a Vedic system. I'm born.
Look at
Super-
touching.
if you can, all the others out there
I
can't,
can't
see
touch
that
him, it's
Kostuba's
true.
trying to touch me through the camera. Untouchable means you're like, you just have no culture. I'm an untouchable. So there's people born outside of Vedic system. They don't know rules and regulations. We're all untouchables. We're all mostly born out of the Vedic culture. We don't know
Yeah.
what's right from wrong. We don't know proper etiquette. I eat with the wrong hand. I'm an untouchable. I'm just going to put it that way. I'm
too.
an untouchable. Don't come near me. I'm a mess. I contaminate you. But I
I'm
have
reaching
hope.
out and touching.
I
you
have
right now.
hope. Now, in a material sense, I have no hope. I'm a mess. I'm a train wreck. I'm a hot mess express. But in a spiritual sense, I'm very fortunate. You know why?
Mm.
The holy name is so powerful. It's got nothing to do with your race, with your gender, with your caste, with your wealth, with your poverty. The holy name is transcendental, all this. Yeah, it recognizes all that stuff. People want to deny it. Oh, no, there's no such thing as privileged people. There's no such thing as caste system. Oh yeah, fly first class, fly business class. There's a caste system on an airplane. There's a caste system in the airport. There is the special lounges in the airports where the
that really gets you when they
plebeians are
don't let
not
you in
allowed
there.
in. And I know that because me and Mara got into the United Lounge because I had
Oh, you got in?
free. We got into the United Lounge. Where were we? In London.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is how the other side lives. And they were like, would you like to take a shower, sir? I was like, yes, I would. Thank you. Would you like a towel, sir? Yes, I would. I would like 2 towels. And I would like a cup of chai when I come out. It was just like, oh, I get it. There's a whole nother group of people who live like this. It's ever see the Hunger? Because Stewie, you should watch the Hunger Games.
Hunger Games?
You would like it. You would find so much Krishna consciousness in the Hunger
Really?
Games. Oh,
Okay, don't do
yeah.
that.
It is just like the extreme haves versus the have-nots. Now, you might say, well, that's not fair. That's not fair. Whatever it is, and it existed in a less perverse way in these ancient times. It did recognize there were different people according to their body types, their proclivities, their strengths, and they had communities around it. Then there were people outside the Vedic culture, but their point was, it's not in the haves or the have-nots. It's not in your bank balance. It's not in your race. It's not in your gender preference, etc. We're spirit souls. And when you connect through sacred sound, you transcend it all. Even if you chant it once correctly. And when I hear that, that means once you do chant the holy name correctly, the hook has been set in your heart. And now you're on some type of spiritual trajectory.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Pass.
Let's keep going because there's a verse I want to get to here, Ragnar.
All righty.
Pure heart one.
While enjoying his material opulences with full strength and influence, Maharaj Priyavrata once began to consider that although he had fully surrendered to the great Saint Narada and was actually on the path of Krishna consciousness, he had somehow become again entangled in material activities. Thus his mind.
Yogi, right?
Yeah.
I used to.
He should be doing nothing, sitting there doing nothing. Thus his mind now became restless, and he began to speak in a spirit of renunciation. The king thus began criticizing himself. Alas, how condemned I have become because of my sense gratification. I now have fallen into material enjoyment, which is exactly like a covered well. So if you're unfamiliar with these Indian wells, they're not like the European wells that come up out of the ground. They're just a hole. And what happens is the grass can grow over it so you can't see it. So you just walk along and all of a sudden, you fall into this covered well. So he says, material world is like a covered well. It's like what I say. It's a sinkhole. It's the same thing. Ever think about that, Kasuba? My sinkhole analogy?
I mean, yeah, it's similar.
It's just, what do you mean? It's identical.
Well,
a sinkhole
well
is when you least
well
expect
has
it.
fresh water. You know.
Well, it's not the exact same thing, but I'm saying
Okay,
sinkholes open up when you're driving down the road and you least expect it. Your car plunges to oblivion. He's like, I have had enough. I am not going to enjoy anymore. Just see how I have become like a dancing monkey in the hands of my wife. Huh? Because of this, I am condemned.
A spirit of renunciation is welling up in him now.
Right. So even he's feeling like, oh, man, he used to be renounced, not attached to anything. Now he's back, perhaps.
Now hear this text 38.
There are many famous verses regarding By the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaj Priyavrata reawakened to his senses. He divided all of his earthly possessions amongst his obedient sons. He gave up everything, including his wife, with whom he had enjoyed so much sense gratification, and his great and opulent kingdom, and he completely renounced all attachment. His heart, having been cleansed, became a place of pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, this is where we're going with pure heart. His heart, having been cleansed, became a place of pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, he was able to return to the path of Krishna consciousness, spiritual life, and resume the position he had attained by the grace of the great Saint Narada.
Nice. Why don't you finish the chapter and we'll go back to this
All right.
concept about the heart.
There are many famous verses regarding Maharaj's Priyavrata's activities. Text 40. To stop quarreling amongst different peoples, Maharaj Priyavrata marked boundaries at rivers and at the edges of mountains and forests so that no one would trespass upon another's property.
That's one of the verses.
Okay.
And here's the other one.
As a great follower and a devotee of the sage Narada, Maharaj Priyavrata considered hellish the opulences he had achieved by dint of fruitive activities and mystic power, whether in the lower or the heavenly planetary systems, or in human society.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. That's the chapter.
That's the chapter. Okay, so there's one chapter dedicated to Maharaj Priyavrata, but you know what did it show us? It showed us that he was a very accomplished yogi. He was asked to take up responsibility that wasn't the typical responsibilities of a yogi. It was much more worldly. In doing so, he would enter into material opulence. He was assured by Lord Brahma himself that if he did so with a mood of devotion, that he would be able to do it unaffected, right? That he could be in the world but not of it. He did that. He was powerful. He enjoyed incredible opulences. And then towards the end of his life, the urge for renunciation came back to him. He was able to walk away from it. He didn't die like an ignorant, attached old man. He died like a powerful yogi, right? And it said, and it says this beautiful it shares this very beautiful idea here at the end, right? That his heart became pure by following this path. That, in other words, he had no separate desires anymore. Even though he lived in the midst of worldly opulence for so many years, that devotional practice purified the heart, cleansed his heart. Cleansed it from what? Cleansed it from material desires, from the false conceptions of self, ideas that I need this and I need that to be happy. He didn't have that anymore. And it said, and then his heart became, and this is really kind of the goal of all the bhakti yogis, right? His heart became a place of the pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what was playing on in his, when we say heart, you know, we mean the mind, that part of the mind where what's most dear exists.
That's
right?
the soundtrack of his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially what you hold very dear in your mind. You know, that's where we want to, you know, so much we become tortured by our own thoughts, don't we? It's like sometimes they're boring, sometimes they're angry, sometimes they're, you know, I saw the statistic once. Maybe I can pull it up. It might take me a little while here, but I'll try to pull
statistics.
It was statistics about thoughts. And yeah.
You want me to do a squirrel while you're looking that up?
Okay, do a squirrel. I'll see if I can pull this up.
Right, here's a squirrel. Is it a material?
I hope it's
desire?
not a total squirrel.
Is it a material? Well, I'm hearing how Priyavrata died. I was like, I really want a spiritual death. You know, I don't want to fall in a hole. I don't want to trip and bang my head. I don't want to, whatever, fall out a window by mistake. You know what I mean? Sitting on a ledge and fall backwards. I want a spiritual death. Is that a bad desire? I want a spiritual death. I want to be in kirtan, singing, and what happened to Raghunath? Something like that. He just left his body in the kirtan. I want a spiritual.
It's never a bad desire to want your mind to go to the spiritual, or your mind to go to God. That's a good desire. Right?
Okay. I'm desiring a spiritual death. I'm going to say that right now.
Basically, the statistic that I'm looking for, Raghunath, it had to do with like our thoughts, how many thoughts we have in the course of a day.
Yeah.
It was like many thousands. And then
what are they? Like, what are they actually about?
Well, they were, I don't know exactly how they got this information. I'm sure it was done through polling and some kind of testing and so on. But they found that the vast majority of them are negative.
Oh, really?
Like, what I got to do?
It depends. It probably depends on the circle of people you interview. I bet if you did a lot
for the average person.
For the average person, okay.
Okay, so it's first it said that we have like 19,000 thoughts in the day or something like it's just something
Right.
like.
Come on.
And it said then it said that like 80% of them are negative, or some 75% of them are negative thoughts, right? Thoughts that give us no happiness, thoughts that have no joy in them, thoughts that are just mundane or even troublesome. And then what it said was that the vast majority of those are repetitive. Like we just keep playing them. It's just
Yeah.
the same thoughts playing out in our minds
It's the
again
turbo
every day.
scenario again and again.
Even and when we talk about turbo scenarios, we talk about things like someone said something about us and our mind can't let it go. Oh, here we go. Gopal Krishna got it right.
Thank you, Gopal Krishna. Read that.
The average person has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and of those thousands of thoughts, 80% were negative, and 95% were exactly the same repetitive thoughts as the day before.
Oh, that's sad.
I brush my teeth now. I gotta brush my teeth now. Gotta go to the bathroom
Gotta
now.
brush my
Gotta
teeth.
make
Where's my
bed now.
coffee?
Yeah,
Where's
it's
my
like-
coffee?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
There's that guy I hate.
Gotta
That
get
guy
back in the
I
car.
hate.
Gotta drive
That
to
guy
work.
I hate. That guy I
Yeah.
hate. You can play those all day. Yeah. Later at
Yeah.
lunch. That guy I hate. It's just like you play these things. Yeah, I'll
Right.
tell him. I'll tell him. I'll tell him. It's just like a broken record of thoughts that run through.
Mundane, boring, painful, troublesome in so many ways. Here, what we hear is that this yogi had achieved this idea. This is where we should go, right? Make your heart, make your mind, make your heart a place for the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Beautiful, joyful, transcendental, spiritual, fully granting full benediction or boons. Right? When you bring your mind to this, you receive the ultimate benediction. It transforms your life. It spiritualizes your life. It makes it wonderful and happy and pure and satisfying. All your thoughts could be like that. All my thoughts could be like that. Right?
I
Imagine
give
that.
you a boon that all your thoughts be like that, Kostuba. That is
Thank you,
my
Raghunath.
blessing today for you.
Thank you. Reach
Yeah,
out.
don't touch me. I'm untouchable. Blessed, you got a boon from an untouchable.
Thank you. Anyway, let's make that our focus. Like I want to cultivate a pure heart that will become, you can say pure mind if you want, that will become the place of pastimes. Literally and figuratively, right? Like in others, I think, well, not even figuratively, but like literally in different ways. Like one way that the heart or the mind becomes the place of the pastimes of the Lord is that we remember them, we read them, we speak about them, and we fill our mind and our hearts with them. And another way is that if the heart is so pure, this is a lot where the ritual comes in, like the temple ritual, where you're cleaning the altar, you're making it pure, because you want God to sit there and stay there. You do the seva, you do the puja. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sang like this, did he not, Raghunath?
Yep.
Cleaning
Cleaning the temple of the mind.
He's doing that worship. I want you to come sit here in my mind, sit here in my heart, and then I want to offer you things, right? I want to offer you this. I want to offer you that. That's what we're trying to do. Heart of gold, pure heart.
I was thinking, young hearts be free tonight.
No. That's a whole different thing.
Henry wrote this one on the board.
Yeah.
This is another mind loop. Is don't they know who I am?
Okay.
Don't they know who I am? Like that's like
a classic.
That could be a classic mantra. Like, why me? Don't they know who I am? It's not fair. These are the mantras of someone. Just once you start saying those mantras, you should understand you're in Maya. You're in total Maya.
You're in a loop. Get out of it.
You're in a loop.
You want to hear?
Get out of the loop.
You want to hear a few pure heart nuggets before we get to the takeaways?
Yeah.
This one's from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe.
We call him Goethe.
Great thoughts and a pure heart. That is what we should ask from God.
There you go. Great thoughts and a pure heart.
Now this is coming from Fred Van Vliet, NBA basketball player.
No, really?
Yeah. Yes. Fred Van Vliet.
It sounds like some great philosopher.
German philosopher.
NBA basketball player, center for the Clippers.
So he says, I sleep pretty good knowing that I go out there every night and lay it out all on the line with a pure heart and take whatever comes from that. I think there's a certain wisdom in that, right? So you go out into
Right.
life, you lay it all on the line with a pure heart, right? And then whatever comes, comes. I like that.
Eh,
Come
Pass.
on, man.
Pass
Cut
on
me
that
some
one.
slack. I like that one. How about this? This is from Peter Kreeft.
Griefed.
A pure heart means a single heart, a heart in which only one desire lives, love. Okay.
All right. Okay. I get it.
Here's a little Jack Cornfield for you.
That was Jack Hornfield.
No, this one. This one
Oh, okay.
takes us in a whole nother direction, but it's powerful, I thought. According to Buddhist scriptures, compassion is the quivering of the pure heart when we have allowed ourselves to be touched by the pain of life. Quivering. That's deep. It's too. One last one. Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Okay.
said
Everybody
there's
must get stoned. Yes.
No. He says there's enough songs for people to listen to if they want to listen to songs. Like, we don't need to write any more songs, right? For every man, woman, and child on earth, they could be sent probably each of them 100 records and never be repeated. Right? There's plenty of songs out there. There's enough songs, unless someone's going to come along with a pure heart and has something to say. That's a different story.
Ooh,
I like
that. Dylan was so close. I feel like
Okay.
he was like this close to being a Hare Krishna.
But he was. There's a whole story.
I know. Didn't we tell it on the show once? Drove
I don't
across
think we
the country
did.
with these devotees.
Maybe we did. We did it on his birthday or something that we had.
We found some secret information and shared it on the show.
Right.
You got to find out what that episode was, Mara.
I think Bob
Mara
Dylan is in the title.
Mara's got like a mind, like a filing cabinet.
You got some good stuff, Mara?
Yeah, she knows everything.
Yeah.
Look, Mara.
I got some good takeaways today.
Okay.
In a moment, we'll be gobbled by the frog of death.
Oh.
Look how happy Mara looks today. Doesn't she look happy?
Yeah, she's doing the takeaways.
Yeah. The information age could save your life if you use it right.
Yeah.
Purify your heart to receive divine direction.
Mm-hmm.
Progress, not perfection.
Love it.
Okay.
Make a pure heart the goal.
There you go.
It's reasonable. I can't perceive everything.
That's reasonable.
It's more than reasonable. It's unquestionable.
It's unquestionably reasonable.
We're all untouchables, but there's hope.
I like that. I'd wear that shirt. I'm an untouchable.
Cultivate.
Imagine that shirt. I'm an untouchable.
Well, there was a band called the Untouchables, right? We're the Untouchables.
I
I
guess
think
it
they're
was,
from
yeah.
San Diego.
All right.
Cultivate a pure heart to make it a home for Krishna.
All right.
Those pastimes.
Get out of the loop.
Get out of
Get
the
out of the
loop.
loop. That's a great saying. That's a song.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good
song
one.
title.
Okay.
Get out of the loop.
And
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 thank God for God.
thank God for God. Woo! Thank you.
that's like I hate hate.
I hate hate. I hate the fact that you said that. Thanks everybody for joining us here at the
I hate that you hate that I said that.
I hate. Oh, hate's such a mean word, isn't it? I hate you. Hate. Love, Kostuba. Love. It's about love. Love is the magic.
No,
love
but
is
it's
the
hate that I
answer.
hate. You know.
Don't hate anything. Don't even hate
I
Assist
love
hate.
that I hate hate. Why can't you
It's
love that I hate hate?
I do love you, but I don't appreciate you hating anything, even hate.
Learn to love
I
my
think
hating
you
hate.
should look at hate and say, hate, there's other options. Hate.
Why is your love limited?
Reason with hate.
Why is your love limited, Raghunath? Extend your love to my hating hate.
No, it's not limited. I just love love, and I won't say the word H. It's the H
The
word.
H word.
It's not a word in my vocabulary, in my dictionary. Oh, I got satsang. I gotta go. People, you're beautiful people. I just
That
want you
it?
to know that if no one told you you were special this morning, I'm here to
Aw.
say you're a
Thank you,
special
Raghunath.
person. Not just you, everybody.
Thank you, Raghunath. That means so much to me. I needed that today.
You're all special here. You woke up early. You're hearing the Bhagavatam. Your life is going to be different tomorrow, the next day, years from now. just by hearing transcendental message of Srila Vyasadeva. We're in this together, people. We're in this like a family. Thank you, Wisdom of the Sages, people. You're beautiful people. If you like what we're doing, patreon.com/Wisdom of the Sages, community-supported podcast. We got a kirtan to go to. Wish you were all here with me live.